Jasper, and good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining our ChronosHub training session, which will be run by my colleague Debbie, who is based in Switzerland. My name is Geiss. I am the business lead for North America at Karger. I'll be walking through the process of ChronosHub, or the ins and outs of ChronosHub. Over to you, Debbie. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Hello and welcome also from me, and thank you for joining today's training session. So we implemented ChronosHub in the summer of 2023 with the primary goal of replacing manual workflows with an automated system. This transition allows us to efficiently verify eligible authors, secure approvals where needed, and provide an on-demand reporting for our customers. At the same time, it streamlines the process for authors, reducing many steps to just a few clicks and making the entire experience faster and more user-friendly. For this session, I'll be using a demo account with placeholder data, but it closely mirrors what your own account looks like. I'll focus on how to navigate the ChronosHub platform and also show you part of the author journey from their perspective. As Geiss mentioned, there will be time for Q&A at the end, so feel free to jot down any questions that come up along the way, and we will answer them at the end. In your account, you'll notice several tabs on the left here. I'll walk you through all of them, but the most important one for you is at the bottom, and it's the agreement report. So I'll start there. This is where you can track the usage of your transformative agreement. Once articles are accepted under the agreement, they will be displayed here. The graph at the top offers a quick high-level overview over the total number of articles accepted and published under the agreement. The bars represent each individual agreement year, while the numbers reflect the total across all the years. To view a graph of the individual year, you can go down here and click on the plus of the respective year. That will open the graph for that single year. When you click again on the plus underneath, it will display information for each article, including the DOI, the journal, the article title, the corresponding author's name, accepted date and published date when available, and would also include the rejection reason if an author selected to not accept the waiver. I'll come back to this later on. What you also see here is an Excel button. Clicking on it will generate and download an up-to-date report anytime you like. I will go through all the tabs here. So starting off, we have an institutional agreement ID. That is simply a number created by the system for your agreement. Then we have the agreement name as set up. Following is the article DOI and manuscript number. You have the article title as well as the article type. So that will be, research article, review article, case report, whatever it is. The next columns show the institutional name and persistent identifier related to the institution for which the agreement is set up. Next, you'll have the journal title related to the single article, as well as the related discipline. Next is the journal type. So is it a hybrid journal or an open access journal? The next columns show the ISSN and EISSN of the journal. Next column is the publisher name, which in this case, of course, is always us. Next column is the license the article is published under. So you'll see CC BY and C, depending on what was agreed on. The next three columns are the submission date, acceptance date, and publication date. Now, the next two columns, the eligibility approval date and eligibility rejection date, are only filled in, of course, if you have chosen to approve eligibility. Otherwise, these will always be empty. Then following column is the corresponding author name and email address, as well as their affiliation. You also have all co-author names and author ORCID IDs if they are provided. Now, we don't, it's not a must. They can provide them, but it's up to them to do so. Then next is the APC list price and corresponding currency. Then the total amount paid. Now, mostly this would be zero, but we do have agreements where it is like a 50% discount rather than a full waiver. There again, the respective currency. Here in this column, you would see the author's reason for rejecting the waiver if he had rejected it, what I also mentioned earlier. And finally, it's simply the country code and the article status, so published, accepted, and so forth. I think the report covers really most of the data that you would be looking for. Next tab up is the approval dashboard. This tab is relevant only for customers who have chosen to approve author eligibility. On this page, there are three panels. It's the pending approval, approved, and rejected. If you've opted to approve author eligibility, you will receive an email with a funding request as soon as an article from an eligible author within your organization is accepted. You'll then have 5 working days to review the article pending approval in your dashboard. After that, we will auto-approve the articles on your behalf to prevent any delays, allowing the author to proceed with the next steps. Now here, clicking on the arrow will display, among other things, details about the article. So the title, the author name, email, and particularly the roles, as well as the affiliation. On the far right, you have the Choose Action down drop menu. Here you can select either approved or rejected, whatever the decision is, and click Confirm. This will automatically trigger an email to the corresponding author to notify them of your decision. After that, confirmation articles will automatically move to either approved or rejected section, depending on your decision. The next tab in the list is the journal finder. I wouldn't expect you to use this frequently. However, if you'd like more information on our journals, you can find it here. They're all listed in here. What you can see is that based on the admin's profile affiliation, that the eligibility under the transformative agreement is recognized and displayed here. Authors will see the same information in their journal finder within their account if their account profile affiliation matches the agreement. That is very important. I'll move on to the next tab, which is the article report. The key difference between the agreement report we looked at before and the article report is that the latter provides more filtering options. and it includes articles affiliated with your institution that were not published under the agreement. You can filter by start and end dates and status criteria: submitted, accepted, and published. Once you've set the filters, you can download and generate and download a report. The structure of the report will include the exact same data and columns as the report I showed you earlier. Now, the top tab, the All Articles tab, is in fact now considered outdated, as the article report that I just showed you before was created to replace it. It will be phased out and removed soon, so you can safely disregard it moving forward. What I would like to jump to now is to walk you through the author journey once the article is accepted. So once the article is accepted, the corresponding author receives an email containing all the necessary information. By following the instructions and clicking on the provided button, they are seamlessly directed to ChronosHub to log in. After logging in, they can navigate to the respective article and click on the Select Publishing option button there. That will open a new window, and here they will be informed about their eligibility to publish open access at no cost thanks to the existing agreement. Prerequisite for this is, of course, that the correct and matching affiliation is selected when submitting the article. While authors typically opt to accept the waiver, of course, they also do have the option to continue without it. If they choose this route, they will be asked to provide a reason for their decision and confirm this. In this case, you'll be able to see both the author's decision to opt out and the reason they've provided in the agreement report that I showed you previously. Once they have accepted the waiver, the author will need to review and accept the license agreement. After this step, the article is sent to production. Following this, that basically completes their journey in ChronosHub. They will then, as a next step, be receiving communication from the production team on their proofs, that their proofs are ready to review. Now, authors whose institution approve eligibility will be notified via email after acceptance that a funding request was sent to their organization. This information is then reflected in their account. They cannot proceed any further until a decision is made. Once the organization makes the decision, the author will receive an email once again and be invited to log into their ChronosHub account to proceed with the steps as explained before. Now that concludes my presentation. So far not. It is up to our editorial department to make that decision. At the moment, it is not planned as a requirement. That is basically part of your agreement. You determine within the agreement what the author should be offered. So for the open access article, we have the two options, that's CC BY 4.0 or CC BY NC. Those are the two agreements we do offer, but the author will be shown what you have agreed on in the agreement with us, you as an institution. Now we do have a step-by-step instruction deck for authors. We can share those with you. You can upload them to your website if you would like to. So just reach out and let us know if you don't have it yet.
Go ahead, Debbie.
No, they're not required. It is a choice. So some institutions want to do it and therefore are set up like that, but it is really your option. It is up to you whether you would like to do it or not.
And that's to add to Debbie's point. One of the reasons why ChronosHub was implemented beyond just the manual workflow is to also make it easier on all of our customers, so that to alleviate some of that workload. So most institutions do have the auto approve once the authors checks the boxes in terms of affiliation, etc. So no, most institutions do not require to approve authors, but there are cases where they are manually doing so by choice.
It goes back to January 2023.
Correct.
Everything before that is still on our good old other manual Excel lists, but can always provide you with that information. We do have it. So, but in ChronosHub itself, it's from January 2023.
I know.
Well, USA LATAM, it's US dollars. For Europe, we have the euro for the Eurozone and Swiss francs for anyone else. Now, the system isn't perfect. We have had cases where Swiss francs were displayed instead of US dollars for the US, but on the whole, that should be correct now. I don't think that has been set or asked yet. So, I mean, we have institutions that have like 2 or 3 admins. I don't see that there should be a limit, but I mean, obviously, probably is easiest to have 2 or 3 so that you can, make sure that you're covered during annual leave and things like that.
I guess on behalf of myself and the entire team, thank you all for taking the time to join. We hope that you have found value and benefit in this. And again, hopefully this would be something we can also schedule in the future for those that may have not been able to join.
Thank you very much, and bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.